Okay, so we're on Unit 2 in the Fundamentals of Piano Theory, and well, I got a phone call in the middle of the last video, so I have to restart it because, well, it stopped my video. So, here we go again. The staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces, and the staff itself is the 5 lines that are going across the page horizontally. And like I said, it has 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the center of these 5 lines are, how do I hold my hand? The 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the middle is 1, 2, 3, 4. That was a lot harder to do on camera than I thought it was going to be. Oh, there we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So I numbered them. And then we can see that we have the line notes, are our note heads that we drew in Unit 1, with our quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, eighth notes, dotted quarter notes. And we can have them with a line running through them on the staff. So we can place them on the line, or we can place them in between the lines, making them called a space note. So here we just drew a L for line notes or a S for space notes. You could take a second and check that out. And then we had to see what makes a note an up stem and what makes a note a down stem. And once it touches the middle line, we're going to bring the stem down. Now, obviously, you know, like when we get into other pieces of music, you may see some exceptions to this rule, but for right now, we're just going to say when it touches the middle line, the stem goes down. So we have up stem, it touches the line, it goes down, up stem, down stem, up stem, down stem, up stem. Okay. Now remember, you're writing in pencil. I'm only writing in pen because I am going to the grocery store to buy erasable pens after this. Yes. Or you can use an erasable pen, that's fine too. So you may find it easier to start with bass clef drawing before you start with treble clef, only because this is a little bit tricky. But treble clef is for high sounds and bass clef is for low sounds. So when you're first starting out on piano, you're probably going to associate treble clef with your right hand and bass clef with your left hand, because your right hand is on the higher keys and your left hand is on the lower keys. So we're going to practice drawing some of these, and yours aren't going to look perfect like this. I draw mine like this, and take your time with it. You know, obviously they're not all going to look exactly the same. And if I don't go kind of fast, then I can't get into the rhythm with how I've always been drawing my treble clefs. And if I think about it too hard, then they start to look really bad. So I'm gonna have to just go with the motion of it. It's kind of like if you look at a word for a super long time, then you're like, is that really how that word is spelled? Is the word staff really spelled S-T-A-F-F? Like if you're looking at it for like 15 minutes or something. Okay, when you're drawing the bass clef, I think the most important thing to know is that this dot, it goes on the second to top line. And that's because the bass clef is called the F clef. So that dot needs to go on the F line. And then we do a swoop-de-doop down. And then these 2 dots surround the F line, okay? So you need to start on the F line and do a swoop-de-doop down. See, look, this looks completely different. If I had a pencil, I would erase that and do that again, because I'd say, oh man, Ashley, that looks sloppy. Now, this is actually how I do it. I just go whooshunk, whooshunk. I don't even do that dot. Whooshunk, whooshunk. But look how my 2 dots surround that F line every time. That has to be there. It cannot be down here. It cannot be up here. It can't be on this line or that line. It has to be on that F line, surrounding the F line. Now, this is the G clef, and it's called the G clef because the circle right here oh jeez, this cap keeps popping off. Goes a swoop-de-doop around this line right here, which is called the G clef. I forgot to tell you that up here. Okay. So if you don't know, now you know, Mr. President. The grand staff. Now we're going to put both the staves together. This does not apply for woodwind instruments unless you're playing a duet. Then you're going to use the brace. So this is called a brace, or it's called a mustache. I call it the mustache, but it's called a brace. So don't tell your music teacher it's called a mustache, because that would be wrong. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw a bar line going down. And that's going to connect your two staves together, and then you're going to draw a brace. And that's going to join the two staves together. And you can say staves, you can say staffs. I think it's like tomato, tomato. There is no one way is the correct way. They're both correct. Okay, so bar line, brace. Bar line. And I have to turn my book like this when I do it. I can't draw a brace. I don't know who can. That's tricky. Okay, so I'm going to draw some braces and bar lines. So bar line, brace, bar line, brace, bar line, brace, bar line. And I'm just doing all of them right now. I know I shouldn't do that. I guess that's like cheating, like you do in school when you're like, I, will, not, talk, and class. But whatever. Okay, I'm gonna draw my treble clef. It surrounds the G line. Got my bass clef. Boom! Look at that. That looked good. Boom. Boom. That one was sloppy. I would erase that. You can't draw these too big either because they're gonna bump. Oh man, that looked so bad, Ashley. Ugh, man, I can't tell you guys how important it is to write in pencil. Ugh, just looking at that, so sloppy. Okay, so this is our bar line. So we already did bar lines over here when we were just making the grand staff. Now we can draw them in our music along the staff as we're creating measures of music. So the bar line is what divides our music into evenly spaced measures. And it depends on the time signature, which is going to go here. And it could be like a 2/4, it could be like a 4/4, but if it's a 2/4, it's going to always have 2 beats in every measure. So it'd be like a quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note. It can never have like a random 3 beats right there. So it's going to have 2 beats. And it always will end with a double bar line. Your double bar line can look like this, or it can have a repeat sign on it as well, telling you to go back and play it all over again. So they're saying, okay, now you have to draw a bar line here, bar line there, and a double bar line, a really thick one, and a thin one. If you do want to do a repeat sign, you just draw it within the two dots within the middle line. What am I trying to say? That's what I'm trying to say. Just make sure when you're drawing your bar line, you don't stop, pick up your pen, and go again. It has to go all the way through. That way you don't get confused if there's any notes in there in the ledger lines there. Okay, it says a staff has blank lines in 5 spaces. I wonder how many lines it has. It has 5 and 4 spaces. Notes are written on blank or in blank. They're in on the line or in the space. Notes written below the 3rd line have blank stems. Notes written below the 3rd line have up stems. Notes written on or above the 3rd line have down stems. I think everybody forgets that when they're first writing it. Treble clef. This is I just gave away the answer. A treble, you're going to be on treble if you don't remember. This is a bass clef. It's not a fish. Don't call it a bass clef. It's a bass clef. The grand staff is joined by a blank and a blank. I must ask you a question. It's called a brace and a bar line. Bar lines divide music on the staff into, wow, I couldn't read that for a second, into measures. Even measures. Evenly divided measures. The end of the piece has a double bar line. And this is a repeat sign. It means you go back and do it again. Okay, guys. Work on your penmanship for this because obviously I need to. Okay, bye.